keys for building a healthy relationship. Here's a key that will blow your mind away, but you need to embrace it. The difference between a role and a responsibility in your relationship. What is a role? What is a responsibility? Let me ask you for a moment. What do you think is a role? Think. What do you think is a responsibility? I'm going to make it easy for you. I believe a role is who you are. A responsibility is what you do. Let's unpack that. If we want to understand in a partnership relationship what really works, then we have to understand that God has called the husband to be the leader of the home. That's what I'm saying. It's who he is. He's the leader. Now, what if he is a very silently spoken person? He's quiet in personality. He's not that outgoing type. Does that mean that he can sit back and just chill? The answer is no. Because if you want a relationship that really works, it always works when the husband takes leadership. There's nothing more attractive than when a man leads his woman. There's just something macho about it. But it's a decision. Because sometimes it's hard to lead. Especially when you get to your teenage years, where your teenagers are there and none of them want to respond. They do not want to listen to any form of discipline. But you see, that's the time when we actually make the distinction between discipline and punishment. Those are not the same thing. Discipline and punishment are two separate things that need to be handled differently. Because discipline is good and punishment is bad. So the one is positive and the one is negative. But in bringing that in, that's when leadership gets tested. That will the father stand up because he is responsible for discipline in the home? What do you mean? We thought the mother does that. No. That's not what happens, because the mother has got a total different function. Because the husband is called to be the leader of the home. And maybe I can help you. Maybe 5 keys again. How does a husband lead properly? The first one is he needs to be the provider. He needs to literally say, honey, don't worry. It's up to me. I will make sure that we get the money into the home. But in today's society, both men and women are working. That's true. But the truth is, you need to equip yourself as husband to say you'll take accountability so that you can become the provider of your home. The next P is the protector. You want to protect your wife at all costs. There's nothing that is more comforting to see the love of storge, of security in love, of a husband that literally steps in front of his wife and says, I will protect you. Stay away. This is mine. Because as you protect her, she's going to just feel that love. But more importantly, she's going to feel that you're a great leader. The third P is that you need to be her priest. That means you need to actually take up spiritual matters. You want to make sure that you guide her in spiritual matters and that you lead her. Now, what if you grew up in a home where there was no spiritual model? That's okay. You can go and find out. Look at other spiritual models. Look at other men. Ask questions, but find your way, because ultimately you are the priest. I'm using the priest because it rhymes with P. So it's protector, it's provider, it's the priest. So that's why I'm saying to you, it takes a lot of guts to be a leader. What about the next P? You want to be the physician. You want to be her doctor. There comes a day when the husband says, no, you stay in bed. You don't move. You stay in bed. You are too sick to go to school. But what about the children? I'll take them to school. What about the lunch? We'll make lunch together. We'll sort it out. That way, you will literally get your wife to go to a total new dimension. So we are talking about how to lead. I'm helping you with the 5 Ps. So the 5 ways that a man leads his woman is firstly about being the provider, protector, priest, physician, and lastly, peacemaker. Wow, this is a difficult one. Because when you want to have conflict, you have the right to get angry. But here's the truth. I believe a good leader decides to be the peacemaker. You lead by example. In fact, you become the role model of peace in your home. I can promise you, when the father brings everyone to peace, everyone calms down, and literally you can hear the heartbeats go down. So that's how the husband literally can fulfill his role. He is the leader. What about the partner, the wife? Well, she is called to be the helper. the helpmeet, somebody that helps complete the man. I mean, didn't God say in the beginning, it's not good for a man to be alone, therefore I'll make someone to complete him, the woman. Yes, thank heavens for that, because in completing him, they become a team. In other words, the first place that she needs to help him to lead. What? Yes, because not all men are natural leaders. Many women today run their own business, are fantastic leaders themselves, and the first place they want to help is to help the husband lead. That way it will make a massive difference. So work with him. Explain to him you're not trying to dominate, but you're fulfilling your godly role, and that is to help him. Help the home run smoothly. Help the children through the education. Because remember earlier on I spoke about that it's the man's role to be, he's in charge of discipline. Do you know what the woman is in charge of? The value set of the home. They need to determine what values the children will be brought up with. Good manners, etc. What value system, what is a yes, what is a no, what will we accept, what will we not accept. Like for instance, when there's movies, it's the mother that has to say, no. Our children are too young to watch this, there's an age restriction. And she has to model that value to the family. That's her way of helping to make sure that there's food on the table. It doesn't mean that she's the cook. She helps to make sure there's food on the table. She may delegate to the children, but she helps in every way for the home to run smoothly. In fact, somebody else once said, she's the heart of the home. So there you have it. We're talking about the keys for building a healthy relationship. In this case, we're talking about responsibilities and roles. Right now, we have nailed the two roles. The role for the husband, he's the leader. The role for the wife, she's the helper. What about responsibility now? Well, responsibility is what you do. Remember, a role is who you are. Responsibility is what you do. So the responsibility of the husband, the male, is to love his wife unconditionally. Now, in a previous part of this series, we spoke about the 5 love languages, which is one of them. And we said those 5 love languages are expressed as words of affirmation, quality time, gifts, physical touch, and acts of service. And the 5 ways to express the love is agape love that is sacrificial, philia love that is love of friendship, eros, love of romance, epithumia, love of intimacy, and lastly, storge, love of security. So the husband is there to love his wife unconditionally. In fact, he must love her more than himself. That's what he's called to do. That's his responsibility. What's the responsibility of the wife? Well, there's only one. And that is that she is there to respect her husband. She must see to it that she respects her husband. Now, am I just sucking this out of somewhere? No. I believe that the Word of God is all authoritative guidance for us to have life on earth today. And it says in Ephesians 5:21, it says, therefore we need to submit to one another as unto Christ. That means when it comes to submission, both husband and wife submit to each other. It says, but in the same way, wives submit to your husbands. But can you see? Firstly, they both submit to God. So it's God, and the two together. And then it says in the same way the wife submits to the husband. You know when submission is tested? When the husband and the wife disagrees. That's when submission is tested. Because then it says, do so without a word as unto the Lord. Here's the beautiful thing. Ladies, your husband has got nothing to do with submission. Submission is not beating you into you must do this and you should say this. No. It's between you and your creator of the universe. The person with whom you have got your first relationship. Because God said, submit as unto me. So literally, when you're looking at your husband and you are battling to respect him that moment, think about this. Look past his face and see God standing behind him and say, for God's sake, I will do so. So here's the call. For you to unfold this is to use the key of living your role and your responsibility in a right balance. If each person just looks at what they have to do, focuses on their part, not elbow your partner and say you should do this and you should do that. Do your own bit. And with that key, you'll turn the world.